Alright, just doing a little test here of Flight Sim 2020. I'm in a pits at Cancun. Let's see how this is. I think it's pretty cool how they have that dude in there. Rotate the tail up. Get going. Always takes a ton of down trim, it seems like, anytime you take off anywhere. I'm using an old joystick. It's a Logitech Force 3D Pro, so it's a force feedback thing. Doesn't seem like it's super well integrated. In fact, I should probably say it doesn't seem like it's integrated at all. When I first launched the game, it had nothing in there for the default, so none of the control axes worked. There was nothing. None of the buttons worked, so I had to go in and set all that. I had some trouble initially also with the sensitivity. Turns out it looks like their deadband calculations are wrong, so the little stuff in the middle here of the control stick, the small movements were messed up. If you set a deadband, the motion after the deadband kind of had a jump and a spike in it, but if you set the sensitivity down lower, turns out it works okay. I think they still have some issues with their control logic, but I've got it at least flyable. So we took off. I guess we might as well head to the beach, huh? I'll do a quick letdown. The flight controls and or the aircraft model don't seem that great for the kind of the higher performance, the aerobatic airplanes. I haven't researched the other ones too much, but you see if you just do a roll here, put a roll in, center it up. So watch the flight control surfaces. In general, a pits or an extra don't just keep rolling for 180 degrees or more after you do an aileron roll. They're pretty quick to stop. Now, there are physics involved, all that stuff. The airplanes are going to roll a little bit more when you stop it. You could do a check and apply opposite aileron. But even a full opposite aileron with coordinated rudder and everything, the airplane just doesn't stop. And these are high-performance aerobatic airplanes. They've got time in both of these. And really, you should be able to put a full stick in and just make it stop right on a dime. And they just don't. So you can see, watch the control surfaces here. If you give a full input, it takes a while to build up to the full roll rate. It looks like it's 180 degrees or more before you really get there, and that kind of matches when you release it. So there's quite a delay. It makes the airplanes feel much more mushy than a real airplane. Now, what I don't know is if they somehow have the control sensitivity feeding into the flight model, but it really should be the actual stick position in the airplane, which looks like the stick position is mapped to the flight control surfaces, but it just seems like, at least in roll, things are much more mushy than they should be. Pitch seems to be fairly responsive. Get a little bit of speed here. Just buzz the beach. So one thing you should be able to do is give it a quick either a single-sided input, call that a singlet, or a doublet, where you give it a kind of a square wave input on either side, and you can see that it's pretty deadbeat, so it just maybe has one overshoot, one bounce, and it returns right back. But the roll is, it's just mush. So anyway, just a little bit of gripes about how the things fly. It's alright though. So we're just cruising the beach here at Cancun. We'll go down the road here and just see how it looks. Some of the roads are better than others, I've noticed. I've got a few hours playing the sim so far. This one you can tell is just kind of Bing imagery or some kind of raw map data. I've also noticed a couple of places, like I flew in Destin, and you can see the boats are just textured underneath the water in a couple of places, like the docks, kind of by the Crab Island area. I think it's kind of fun to play in this tail cam mode. The tail cam on the pits is pretty good. I think the default tail cam, or external view 1 on the extra, is a little too nose down. It's pointed a little too far down, so it's kind of hard to see how great it looks. You can see some of the texture issues right near the coast here, where the there's some trees and that kind of stuff that get mapped to the water texture. Well, that's okay. This is 60 bucks, right? Not a gajillion. And we're also flying in an area that's kind of, I was going to say off map, but off map is not the right term. It's just not in one of the high res areas. Of course, not too many years ago, this would be absolutely amazing if this was anywhere in the sim. But even here, it's still pretty nice. Water texture looks good. You can tell, especially in pitch, but on this joystick, it's kind of a dead zone in the middle of the joystick, especially without any real force feedback going. And so it becomes a little jerky. You see, it's real easy to bobble it in pitch. So apologies for that. Anyway, so this is Cancun. Looks pretty. We should go there. Do some quick aerobatics and then we'll get out of the how about that for finding where the stall AOA is. Anyway, we'll do a little aerobatics, a little low level, and then we'll be done with this video. Haha, take that. So it was interesting there that, so I'm in kind of a steady turn and I'm not moving the stick, but you can see the pitch rate's a little jerky. So some of that might be frame rate, but it seems like some of it is something weird going on with the joystick or the flight model still. I noticed there were some times, if I did kind of an external view, like here, that you can see the elevator jerk. So I'm not, yeah, you see it there? I'm not moving the stick at all. So I'm frozen solid and it's not moving. You see the jitter there. So I'm not sure what that's about. Could be my, it could be just the stick. But it seems a little weird. That's alright. Alright, so anyway, there's some, and I broke a pit, so how about that? Anyway, so there's some flying around Cancun Flight Sim 2020 in the pits. Hope you had fun.